Yeah. Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Island Church Weekly Podcast. Good to be with you today. Joined as ever by Pastor Will. Brother, how are you today?
It's a good day, Matt. It's good to be
It
with
is, yeah.
you and us to engage with our people and share some of the things that go
Yeah.
on. It's really going good. But on a personal level, like,
Yeah.
how's all your kiddos? How's your gang
Man,
doing?
thanks for asking. They're good. We are well into the season of events just kicking off like crazy, right? So it started last week with the trunk or treats and the fall events, and it'll probably be that way all the way up through Christmas because it's one thing after another. But it's a busy season, but it's a fun one, that's for sure. So thanks for asking. They're all good. Everyone's well. Hey, no hurricanes this year. If anyone's been watching for a while, they know that is a blessing for us and our family because we had some flooding issues the past few years. So yeah, we're saying an extra prayer that we get through November with no hurricanes, but so far so
It's,
good. We've
it's a
been
good
really
word.
grateful
And
for that. So
remind everybody how
yeah,
your kids'
yeah, our kiddo.
ages that you're running
Yeah, so
around and
yeah,
chasing.
so our oldest Lawson is 8 years old. He's in second grade now. Kerrigan is our middle. She's 5 years old. She's in kindergarten with her brother at the same school. And we have McKenna, who is our baby, and she is 3 years old, about to turn 4 in November, and has just grown up way too fast. And they're all great kids. We're really, really fortunate. We actually had a great conversation last night about what does it mean to follow Jesus and trying to take some in baptism, and they had questions about that. And so yeah, God's been really, really kind to us and given us kids who are interested in the things of the Lord, are excited about that kind of stuff. They love hearing Bible stories. That's one of the things we realized is if we just open the Bible and read to them a lot of times, they kind of get bored at their age. But if we tell them the stories, right, in a way that is at their level,
Right.
they really engage with that. So it's a fun season. You're always trying to figure out what's the best way to disciple your kids. But yeah, it's a fun challenge and something that's really a privilege. So
Well, that's a
yeah.
good word.
Well,
Good word.
let's talk about Island Church, man. Let's talk about what's going on. It's a busy day. We got a lot of stuff going on, but give us an update on how Sunday was. Looking back a little bit, and let's look forward after that.
Right. Well, this past Sunday we're still in this series dealing with kind of this full-time faith. How do we live out our faith in just practical kinds of ways? We don't want to live Sunday to Sunday and just sermon to sermon, that kind of thing. How do we live this out? And so one of those we talked about this past week. We talked about giving and receiving correction, or being willing to at least engage in inquiry, because sometimes you may not know enough to actually correct. And then how do we position ourselves to receive it? We looked at the story of Nathan and David. How about let's don't get Daniel, Nathan and David, and looked at that with Nathan confronting him, and then we did some other things. Just a very loving thing to do, and it's one of the things probably missing from society. It used to be that we didn't have as many counselors, and we had to depend upon each other to help each other move through hard spots, or when we mess up, and when we have blind spots. And like I said this past week, we all have blind spots, and sometimes we're just flat out knuckleheads.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, that's also a great time to just plug really quick the reason why we have our groups and why groups are so important. Groups are the environment where we get to have those relationships sharpen, and where we have other people speak into our lives. We speak into other people's lives in a really healthy biblical way. So just putting that little plug in there. That's why you need to be involved in a group. It's easy to hear on Sunday a message and maybe there's some correction there, but if there's no one to follow up on it, then the accountability isn't there, and you don't get all of what God offers for us in those sort of relationships. So quick plug for groups.
That's a good word. Good word.
Yeah.
And the reality is, people say, well, I'm not perfect. I can't do it. Well, neither is your pastor, neither is anyone else. And so, and really, it's really important for our people to, you get 90% encouragement, 10% correction. We talked about everybody has a whistle, but let's don't run around just blowing the whistle.
Absolutely.
And there's no spiritual gift of correction or anything like that. So we need each other to do it, because when the pastor speaks into the issue, what really happens, maybe a little behind the scenes for our people, is when the pastor speaks into issues or situations, then the weight of the church is on that. I don't consider myself being that important.
Right.
The weight of the church is on it. And there's a difference in inquiry from a friend, or, hey, seem to maybe you're neglecting your wife, or you're not engaged in your faith as much, or some type of inquiry like that, as opposed to the pastor saying it, and the weight of the church being behind that. So it really is important for us to do that. This past week we had great music, just listen to our people sing, and then we just encouraged again by having returning guests. I want to say something here about we're having guests, and we keep saying it because we actually are, and some of them are returning. a couple of things that impact our church, just as people
Yeah.
can anticipate the future related to our building. And I would say this, um, that when people are have some type of interest, often they'll find a local church, right?
Yeah.
And they'll give it a shot. And maybe they're not ready to take some next steps. Maybe it has nothing to do with us, or maybe we don't fit them. That could be the case.
Right. Right.
But we certainly want to be welcoming, and I want to thank our people for doing this. We receive people well. We want to follow up with people, but we have a couple of different challenges here. Just we're on an island. People have to come to us to come to us. They don't just wander by here. And we're on the bottom side of the island, and we're not on the frontage road. All those things, they don't impact us once we're inside, but it makes it a challenge. There's a limited number of people here. When people have to cross bridges, waterways, and other kinds of things to get here, it's not that far, but it's a mental barrier. So. And one more thing that's impacting us in terms of our church and its growth and stuff, and how the bridge will really help us, is that often people want to come. They want to know, is there someone there like me? So you may see some younger people. We've had some younger people. We had 2 weeks ago. We had 2 sets of 20-year-olds couples that were here, and so that's really encouraging in a way. And they were received very well. They were the next to last ones to leave that day. Sandy and I stood out front, talked to them. I did most of the talking, and Sandy came out towards the end, I believe, and had conversation with them. But what I want our people to know is, once we get the building built and more families start engaging with each other in our church, and we get the coffee shop going, and we have other kinds of activities, then there will be more people. Right now, it is going to be difficult for us to have consistency with children and consistency with young adults at this point. When we get the building, it's not going to fix everything by itself.
Right.
But
it'll
it gives
provide
us
the space for it.
So you build a lot of churches. I mean, tell everybody I'm right. No.
Yeah, you are. You're right. Your facilities have a way of they can put a governor or a limiter on the growth in certain areas of your church. Like, it's just the reality of it. Like, if you don't have space for kids, it's hard for a young family with kids to walk into the church and see, oh, this is a place that's for us, right? If you don't have facilities for the community, it's hard for the community to come in and say, oh, this is a place for us. And that's ultimately what most folks are looking for whenever they come to a church for the first time, whether they're Christian, whether they're not Christian, whether they're de-churched, whether they've got baggage. They're all kind of coming in and saying, okay, is this a place where I could plug in, belong, grow? And a lot of those facility things are the way, unfortunately, because we're people, right? Like, we're in a space in real time. And so we think of things in terms of the space we're in, and we're looking around and saying, okay, does this feel like a place that's designed with us in mind? And so in some ways, your facility is a signal to people of what you're about. And if your space doesn't reflect the sort of people you're attracting, then you have a mismatch, and it's a governor on your ability to grow in that way. So I would say 100% you're right. The space really does matter. And it gives us the ability to minister to people and to, I would say, retain people. Like, people come check it out. It's really about that. It's in some ways we joke about it all the time. Like, it's easy to get people to try church for the first time. It's hard to get them to stick.
Right.
And so if you can get that second, third, fourth, fifth visit, that's when people really stick around. They say, okay, I can plug in here. Space has a lot to do with that. So yes and amen. That's why we feel like God's calling us to do this as a church. And it's critically important for us to keep growing in those areas.
Yeah. Well, good word. I mean, I think it is. I just want our people to get a little background. You say, well, we don't need the space ourselves. Well, really not for ourselves. It's actually a connection point to our mission field. And so we're trying to bridge the church to them and them to the church. Absolutely. And when that happens, then the attendance will settle out in some ways, because you'll have more families, more diverse generations. And so in our church, and that will help stick. And, kids are in school and they have kind of set schedules. So I want our people to have a feel about that. Absolutely. Speaking of which, it's coming up. You're going to ask me about Trunk or Treat.
Yep, absolutely. So, it's coming up soon.
That's right. So it's coming up Friday. And by the time they listen to this, maybe Thursday morning, it'll be the next day.
Yeah.
So make sure you get out. We have some cards up here. Hopefully you're going to see some signs out. But invite your friends, in terms of if they got children or got grandchildren in town that particular day. And this is a time for us to say to the community, hey, we're open for business. We're here, and we're working on, you and I are working on, try to make sure we have some signage and let people know we've been talking about this building. Now it's going to happen.
It's happening. Yeah,
it's happening.
Yep.
And so this is some people have been wondering, are you going to pull this off, and you're going to make this
Yeah.
thing work? And some of the younger families that are in the area.
Yeah.
And so what we want, we're going to be young to old and everywhere in between. We're going to for Trunk or Treat, we're going to have a big time fun outside ourselves, and the kids that come for this as well. That's going to be from 6 to 7:30. If you're a part of either helping, you can come early or stay late. If you're doing a trunk, you certainly want to get set up and get going on that. But that's this week. It's a way for us to reach out to the community. And actually, it happens where we see some of the same parents, same children.
Yep.
We watch
Year
them
after
grow.
year.
I've been here now.
Yep.
This is our sixth, maybe fifth or sixth, whatever it is. I mean, I've been here for 5 years plus years almost. But anyway, we've been here for this Trunk or Treat, and so this is coming up. And then as we try to close out here today, I would encourage you towards the Heart Attitudes. We're going to continue down this series, which deals with living out our faith. And so maybe you'll memorize those seven heart attitudes. You say, I can't do that. They're little bitty phrases, and they actually connect together. And it's good for the brain to work. Mm-hmm. Some people wonder if mine works sometimes. Sometimes it does.
We all wonder if our brains work sometimes. I think we all have those days where we're like, is my brain working right today? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So the Heart Attitudes, you can read the book, you can do the devotional, you can memorize the 7. And the way I said it in our church service, if Chris Riley can do it, we know we all can do this. So we really appreciate Chris taking the lead in that, and some others. Yeah. And so that's kind of what's coming up. We've kind of talked about what's in the past, but well, I thought we should share a little bit about the building. And so that's all I have, Matt.
Awesome. Well, that's a great update. I think that keeps everyone really in the loop on what's happening in the life of the church, how they can be involved. There's lots of ways, as you can see, like lots of ways to get plugged in. Excited for Trunk or Treat on Friday. Invite all your friends. Invite any families that you know. That would just be my last encouragement as we close out today, is like, this is such a great event. If we're building a building to bridge the community in, this is a way, almost like a practice run, right? Like these sort of events are practice runs for, hey, if we can bring the community together for events like this is just a shadow of what's to come when we have a facility where we can consistently do this on a day in, day out basis, instead of having to do a big pop-up event, essentially, which is what Trunk or Treat is, to bring them in. This is something we can do on a regular basis. So it really is a way for us to practice what God's about to do with the new Bridge of Future campaign and with the new building. So excited for it. Pastor Will, thank you so much for sharing your heart. Thank you for watching. We'll see you back here on the Island Church Weekly Podcast next week.